A month ago, I bought 2 TVs off of AliExpress, and I've only received one. The second one was apparently delivered in Ontario, which is a bit weird considering that I live in Vancouver, so I don't think we're getting that one. Which means straight off the bat, we've only had a 50% success rate buying TVs off of AliExpress. But luckily we did get one of them, so today we're gonna open it up and see what kind of abomination we received, and then I'm gonna compare it to a TV that I bought locally for about the same amount of money. Oh, it's falling out. But before we get into that, it's time for a word from today's video sponsor. Linode! Today's video is sponsored by Linode, a company that's been awarded by me as having the best name to say. Just give it a try. Linode. It feels good, doesn't it? Linode is a Linux-based cloud computing and web hosting service that offers multiple products to manage cloud storage, websites, databases, game servers, Kubernetes, and they can even handle whatever computational load you can imagine. And regardless of what service you decide to go with, you will get access to award-winning customer support. If all of this sounds good to you, sign up to Linode using the link in my description below to get a 60-day $100 free credit. Thank you, Linode, for sponsoring today's video. Apparently the TV's all screen, which is great compared to those loser no-screen TVs. Wow, these little plastic feet feel like a part of a toy that you get in a Kinder Egg. That's some sturdy plastic right there. Ooh, it's so light, holy crap. Ooh. Ugh, it does smell like it's from AliExpress. That standard industrial dumpster plastic smell. It does feel a bit like it was made out of melted down bits of Blockbuster, but at least the Xiaomi TV does have a VESA mount on the back, which is pretty nice. For ports, we've got 2 USB and a single HDMI, but I do like that we still have Cretaceous period analog video in, which makes this a good pairing for an old console. Now, while I'm down here, one of the big advantages of this TV's thick caboose is that there is quite a lot of space for speakers in it, so maybe this TV will have decent audio. Let's see if that pans out. It's so light. Ooh, there's a nice peel incoming, I can just feel it. Oh, the bottom lip did almost come off, but still, that was amazing. It looks good. I know what they mean about all screen now. But yeah, let's fire it up and see what the picture looks like and what kind of caboose sound we get from it and what kind of gaming experience it offers, because that's the most important bit. Whoa, in 2011, this TV would have been sick. Oh, there we go. Hey! Ooh, those are some real uniformity issues. But luckily, I do have a Spider X, so we'll be able to get some real professional measurements to see how this TV really stacks up. Hey, look at that. We've got the little smart TV interface going. Let me see if I can figure out how to change it into English. Okay, now I'm actually going to be really big brain about this. I'm quickly going to see what the Chinese symbol for language is, and then we'll be able to find it, right? Language looks like that. Oh, that's it. So that's language. So here, English! Yes! I am a genius! Not sure I want to connect this TV to the internet, but aside from that, this does seem to be a perfectly usable TV, which is pretty cool. So let's plug a console into it and see what kind of gaming experience we get. It doesn't look too bad. It's relatively bright and it's crisp enough, I guess, for like normal sitting away from distances. This is a 1080p display, so it's not 4K, but you don't need rich people nonsense like 4K at 32-inch with a TV, unless you're sitting like this, which then you can see that those pixels are actually pretty massive. Let's try the speakers. Yeah, no, never mind. They're not very good. There's not any obvious ghosting. So that's actually good. I'm impressed by that. I was expecting there to be ghosting, but the way that it renders motion isn't great. It's quite blurry. Let's see what options we have here. So picture profiles, standard, movie, picture. Okay, let's try game. Maybe game deals with the blurriness. Actually, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Although, I feel like we've given up the motion blur a little bit and we've replaced it with a pretty just weird looking motion rendering. Generally, movement doesn't look great, but other than that, this is a surprisingly usable TV. With that, let's check out the Best Buy TV. Now the thing with this Best Buy TV is for roughly the same base price as the AliExpress TV, you're getting 43 inches of viewing pleasure in 4K as opposed to 32 inches at 1080p, which means things are already looking pretty grim for that AliExpress TV. But then you take into account all of the shipping prices on top of it and things get wild. But we'll get into that later in the video. Let's have a closer look at this Hisense first. Just kind of lay it down. Now the first thing that I notice about this Hisense TV is that it smells way better than the AliExpress one did, and it also has analog in, so that's pretty cool. Other than that, it does have a whole bunch more HDMI and just generally a much better assortment of I/O. Now I'm not sure, but I think the TV from Best Buy is a little bit bigger. But in the words of my wife trying to console me every day, size is not the only thing that matters. So let's fire up this Hisense and see how the image quality compares to the little Xiaomi. When setting up the Hisense, I noticed a couple of key differences between it and the little Xiaomi. The first is when it comes to picture profiles, you have a lot more tinkering settings available, but for the initial gaming tests, I settled on just the standard picture profile. And the second thing I noticed was that the Hisense's caboose sound is a definite step up. However, when I launched into Elden Ring, I was not impressed. No way, is that max brightness? This TV's so dim!
1 hour later.
I've played around with the settings a bit. In fact, I think I just put the default color space back on and then switched game mode back on. And now the brightness is better. I've also played Gears, which looks way better than Elden Ring on this TV. And yeah, at this point, in this state, the brightness isn't that bad. It's not nearly as dull as it was earlier. And it's usable in this room with a bunch of lights in it. But if you have a living room with like a bunch of sun in it and stuff, it's not going to be great because the brightness on this TV is surprisingly low, even compared to the little Xiaomi. But having said that, I think now is a good point to do some measurements to see how these two TVs actually stack up. Oh, that is a very interesting result, starting with color space coverage, where the Hisense TV is a bit better than the Xiaomi, basically meaning it can show a bigger variety of colors. But when we have a look at the color accuracy results, the Xiaomi is actually better, which means the Hisense TV may be able to show more colors, but they're garbage colors. Honestly, that Hisense result's proper poo tier. Now moving over to brightness uniformity, the result is roughly the same. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. However, when it comes to actual brightness and contrast, the Xiaomi is a lot better than the Hisense TV. It's almost twice as bright, in fact, which really shows the Hisense is a very dull TV. Having said that, before we get into the final pricing for these two TVs, where things get pretty wild, let's see what Anna thinks of them. Okay, Anna, so what do you think?
On first view, I think that I prefer the larger size, but that's just because, you know, we've gotten used to large screens.
Yeah, bigger is always better,
Bigger is
right?
always better.
I mean, not always.
The blacks between the two are very different.
Really nothing.
I didn't want to do anything. I know. So, like, the blacks on the Xiaomi are way, way darker. The saturation on the Xiaomi is better, and the Hisense is actually quite dark for a screen. or a monitor. Like, you can see that there, the difference between the color of
Yeah.
the wood. Like, this one's not overly bright at all, but this one's quite significantly duller or dimmer than this one. Physically, I prefer the matte legs of the Hisense and the gray accents, but I do also like the top bezel. It kind of has a bezel-less feel of the Xiaomi, but I don't like the shiny black plastic.
So overall, if these two cost the exact same, which one would you get?
It would depend on the size of my apartment, to be honest. Whoops. But I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Now, the base price for both of these TVs was pretty much identical. It was 380 Canadian dollars. But that's not what you pay for stuff, right? You have to take into account all of the taxes and additional hidden costs. With all of that taken into account, the Best Buy TV cost a total of 430 Canadian dollars. Whereas with the AliExpress TV, initially I paid a total of 440 Canadian dollars for it, including shipping and stuff, which is, again, surprisingly similar. But then I got a message from the AliExpress seller on WhatsApp going, "Hey, thank you for buying a TV. It's a bit weird, but I appreciate it. On an unrelated note, the shipping that you paid for isn't real shipping. Basically how it works is we put the TV on a plane and then fly it into rural British Columbia. At some point, we then throw the TV out of the plane and then we send you the GPS coordinates of the plane the moment we throw the TV out. And then it's up to you to go and hike into the mountains and woods to go and find the TV. But considering that the TV would have been in the woods for a while, there's a good chance bears would have found it and they're most likely going to hold it for ransom. So once you find the TV, you'll probably have to also pay bear ransom. Is this something you'd like to deal with?" "No, I don't want to pay bear ransom in the woods for my TV. What kind of question is that?" And then he responded with, "Okay, well then your only option is to pay an additional 240 Canadian dollars for shipping." Which kind of explains what happened to the other TV. I guess it's just in the Bear Mountains somewhere. But anyway, that meant that the total amount that I paid for the AliExpress TV was about 640 Canadian dollars, which is $250 more than I paid for the Best Buy TV. And if I paid that amount for a TV at Best Buy, I would have been able to get a much better TV. Which means the basic takeaway from all of that is if you have other options, don't buy a TV off of AliExpress. But if you live in Turkmenistan and it's your only option, at least you get a serviceable TV, right? Which is pretty cool. Which brings me to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video, and maybe consider watching another video. A suggestion will pop up in a second. And yeah, until the next video, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.